Hi there, welcome to my channel. This is Lux Latitude. On my channel I talk about investment stories, investing in yourself and in things. In today's video we are talking investing in things. So you're very welcome. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. I really appreciate that. And now let's get right into the video. Now today's topic is how to deal with black tax and generational poverty. So I come from Kenya, guys, and in an African context, we are used to supporting one another. You know, in an African context or in a Kenyan context, we are used to supporting one another. For example, in my house, I live with my relatives, or I support my parents or other relatives like my sisters or the children of my sisters or something like that, supporting relatives or family. So we are used to that, and that's actually what I'm talking about today. So how to deal with black tax and generational wealth. What is black tax? I honestly don't like the word black, but that's how it's called, and so let's just call it the way it's generally called, black tax. So black tax is whereby in certain communities, like I've said, in African communities or in Kenyan communities, one is automatically expected to support other people financially. So what is my take on that? For example, in my own situation, after I finished school, I knew that I had the responsibility to support my parents. My dad started asking me for financial support for his medical bills. Unfortunately, he passed away, but I remember, like, my very first earnings, all of them went to the medical bills of my father. And so he passed on, very unfortunately, but I have to say that I gave a very big support to his medical bills. And then for a long time, I supported my mother financially. So like every month I would send my mother upkeep monies, so money for her upkeep, for her food, health insurance or health issues, and general upkeep. But whenever she fell ill, then I had to really put my I had to really get into my pocket and support her with huge amounts of money. For example, just one checkup for my mother who had several health conditions like many other old people. Each time I took her to a private hospital for a medical check, I parted with something like 3,000 Swiss francs. That's about 300,000 Kenya shillings, and that's enough money for you to buy a piece of land or something. So that's how difficult it can get when you are into this situation of black tax. Or even me, when I finished school, when I finished high school, before I went to college and before I started earning my own money, I lived with a stepsister. I lived in the house of my stepsister, and she supported me with everything, with food, with housing, with everything. But at that moment, I was young, and so I didn't fall sick very often, and so I didn't need medical support. But if you're supporting an older person, it's very tricky because they have a lot of medical bills. and so it's more expensive to support an elderly person than to support a younger person, but it gets expensive supporting a younger person when they have to go to school. In Kenya, it's very expensive to pay for school fees or upkeep or anything. Anything to do with education or expenses is very expensive in Kenya. And so black tax is a really, really difficult situation. And so before I even get into how to deal with it, I would like to say that for me, my take is, if you're in a position and you are the only one in a position to help, it's very important that you help, but know the limits. Know the limits. Like you need then to be able to determine what are the real needs, which situations really need these black tax. For example, if you're the only one who has some financial means in a family, and you see that there's a child who can't go to school because of lack of school fees, then I think it's a noble thing to step in and pay school fees for that child. Or your elderly parent is there and you're the only one who has the means to provide financial support, and your parent, your father or your mother is sick, you should step in, because in the Kenyan context or in an African context, it's very difficult or it's very rare to have an older person having a health insurance. So the children are usually the providers of health insurance for older parents. And so in this situation, if it's your parent, I think that you can never escape the trap of black tax. So black tax for me is situational. You need really to see like in which situation it's suitable to provide it. I am not completely against black tax, but I'm for the idea that you really need to know in which situations you should step in. And I'm gonna give you step by step some of the things that you can do to be able to deal well with black tax, okay? Without it having to affect your whole financial or your mental health situation. Just a moment. Just a moment. You really need to know in which situation, in which situations you should provide black tax, okay? But I'm gonna give you step by step the things that you should do to be able to deal well with black tax in a way that it cannot affect your mental or financial well-being, okay? So I will give you an example, a story. Let me give you a story. So I supported my mother financially, whereby every month I was parting with something let's say every month whenever she was not sick, every month I would part with something like 1,000 Swiss francs. That's about 100,000 Kenya shillings. And whenever she was sick, I would have to step in even more and provide something like 3,000 to 5,000 Swiss francs. That's about 300 to 500,000 Kenya shillings. And I was very happy to do that because that was my parent, that was my mother. But of course, I was not always. I was lucky that then I didn't even know about investing. I didn't know about the use of money. I was just supporting. I saw that I had the money, and so I just supported her. Unfortunately, after passing away, some of my family members, they were so much used to that money. Of course, they were always around my mother, and they also used the money. They were so much used to that money, and so they said, I needed to continue supporting financially. Yeah, I needed to continue supporting some family members financially. And so I had to say no to that. But I could not completely say no. I continued to like part with the about 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 500 Swiss francs every month. So that's about 50,000 Kenyan shillings per month, to support some family members and some other things that went on in our house or in my late mother's house. And then I thought, hey, I cannot continue being in this situation of parting with a large amount of money every month. I started to then think about ways how I could get out of that trap. I couldn't completely get out of that trap, but I thought I could do some investments that gave me some passive income every month, and using that passive income, I could pay for the black tax that I was expected to pay for. I'm still paying that black tax, but every time I'm trying to reduce the amount of money that I have to spend on black tax. And so investment is one of the ways that you can do to overcome the situation of black tax. Investing. So at that moment, I invested in something where I was getting a reasonable amount of passive income every month. Unfortunately, that passive income was not really directly helping me. It was going to, or it still goes to the black tax. But luckily, I was not losing money. That money is invested, that money is there, and so I'm not losing it. At least it's still there, it's generating some money, and the money that I'm giving away is really not the main capital. It is just the interest that I'm getting from that investment that I'm using to pay black tax. And so that helps me mentally to know that I am doing something to deal with the black tax. So that was my story. And in this whole story, I want to say that you should be able to discern what is actual need, what is the actual situation that you need to support. You need to discern that from the other situations where people just want money from you because they were used to getting money from you. Yeah. And so one thing that people forget is that being in diaspora or being away from home, it doesn't automatically give you money. We people in diaspora, we don't have trees where we just pluck money. We work very hard. A very good example is that at the moment I am studying. I'm doing my PhD, and it's very, very expensive to study. Although my PhD is funded, there are many, many, many costs that I incur because of it. And I'm not earning any money at the moment through the PhD. I used to earn money through the PhD, but now I'm not earning any money. I need to finish and start getting a job to get money. Yeah. But when I told my family that I don't have any income now and I will not be able to support anyone, they still, it's like that just goes through their mind, but they don't really keep it in mind. Every time someone is saying, oh, can you please give me this amount of money, I need this amount of money. Some people even send me messages, oh, I am broke. So as if I have a tree where I pluck money. So people don't, when you're in this black tax situation, whatever happens to you, if you are the financier of the black tax, whatever happens to you, nobody would understand that you also would need help at some point. They would keep wanting and wanting and wanting from you, even if you don't have. And that's where the black tax situation can put someone in a very dire mental health situation. And so the sooner you can get out of this black tax situation, or the sooner you can regulate it, the better it can be for you, for your sanity, for your mental health, and for your financial health as well. And so for me, I have been able to really determine like which situations are absolutely necessary to support and which situations are not. And I have put strict boundaries. When I say no, I mean no. And you have to be able to say no, especially if you are not in a position to provide any financial support, because this can put you in a very poor mental state. And those people that you support, of course, will never understand your situation, will never support you, will never, ever, ever contribute to your wellness. They would always just contribute to your downfall. Of course, I don't think that they know that they are doing that, but indirectly, that's what they do. And so be aware of this situation of black tax. It's not a good situation to be in. So now I have told you at least some of the strategies that you can do to get out of this. Setting clear boundaries, being able to say no and sticking to your no, or also being able to discern, to determine which situations you really need black tax and which ones not. Another very common, practical situation that, or practical solution that you can do, is to invest. Now, investing is the key. Investing is the key to most of these problems. When you invest, you might have enough money to be able to continue providing black tax where necessary, or when you invest, sometimes you may not even have money to give to anyone. So if you're investing, you don't have free money lying around to be able to give to anyone, and then it will be automatic to get out of this black tax situation. Yeah. So for example, the times that I've invested in anything, I didn't have any extra money. Like at the moment, I don't have any extra money, and I've been having requests from here and there. Oh, please help me with this, please do this, please pay for that. And I just have to say no, because I don't have it. It's not there. It's not there. Luckily, some of it is invested. Otherwise, I don't know what I would be able to do. So black tax is really a difficult situation. And now, looking at the topic of my video, it's about how to deal with black tax and generational poverty. So black tax directly or indirectly contributes to generational poverty. Now, what is generational poverty? It is this poverty that is passed on from generations to generations. For example, if your family is poor, the children end up being poor, the children of the children end up being poor. Everybody in that lineage is just poor. And it shouldn't be that way. It should not be that way. Poverty is not by default. Generational poverty is not by default. It's not for everyone. People put themselves in this situation. I'm sorry to say that I'm sorry to generalize, because there are some types of generational poverty which just occur for, I don't know, for whatever reason. But I believe that you can get out of that generational poverty yourself. And so investing is one of the things that will really get you out of generational poverty. Investing and regulating this black tax situation will get you out of generational poverty. Let's say, for example, if my family is poor, or if your family is poor, your mother, your father, your grandparents are poor, and you are the child in that family, do not accept status quo. Do not accept that status quo of being poor. Don't accept it. Some parents may even tell you that, oh, you know, we are poor people, don't do this, we are poor, don't do that, we will not afford it, we are poor. No, don't accept it. Don't accept it. Change that narrative. You can change it. You can change it. I changed that narrative for myself, so you can too. You can as well. Always do not accept that, because it's not true that if you're poor, you will forever be poor. You can do things to be able to get out of that. I was lucky because I was able to get education, but there are people who, because of poverty, they may not be able to get educated. But I also know many people who didn't get education because of poverty, but they did a lot of things. They worked hard, they started a business, or they innovated something, and they got themselves out of that poverty. So don't accept the status quo of being poor forever. It's not it's not something that it's not something permanent. Poverty is not permanent. You can get yourself out of it, okay? And so don't accept that status quo that my family is poor, so I will be as well poor. Yeah, do something, get education. If you can't get education, get a business, start a business, and be disciplined. You will get out of that, okay? And a business, I mean, you can start selling your own clothes, your own shoes, you can sell chicken, you can sell vegetables, you can go to people's farms and buy things and take them somewhere else to sell, and you will get out of there, my friends. And if you're a young person and you have some digital skills, develop an app and start selling that. Or take your phone, everyone has a phone nowadays, start a YouTube channel and get yourself out of poverty. And so for those of you who are lucky to attain education, education can actually get you out of these black tax things and generational poverty. So when you get education and you want to get a job, use that job to provide you with income to invest. I have to tell you that just having a job will never make you rich. Just having a job can probably not take you out of generational poverty, but using that job to gain income and to be able to invest in something that will give you passive income or monthly income from investment. That's the only way you will get rich. That's the only way you will get out of poverty. I'm telling you this because this information was not available for many of us for a long time. I have to say that even me, I didn't know. If I knew how to invest when I was 21 years old, I would be very rich now. I didn't know. I only knew recently, like 3 years ago. I only knew about investing 3 years ago. I didn't know before. I didn't have financial information before. And this is why I am so motivated to talk about financial information, investing, and getting out of generational poverty. So guys, if you have education, use that education to get a good job, to get you income, to be able to invest into a business or into something else. It doesn't always have to be a business. It can also be investing into anything. And if you check on my channel, you can find several videos with advice about where and how you can invest. Okay, please check out my channel. There are not many videos, there are just a few videos which will give you practical examples of how and where you can invest, whether you are in Kenya or in Switzerland or wherever you are in the world, okay? And just why am I pushing this idea of investing and getting out of black tax and generational poverty? I recently listened to a very famous financial expert in Kenya. She's called Rena Hicks. I always listen to her. Rena Hicks and someone else called Ndindi Nyoro. But I listened to Rena Hicks of Faida Investment Bank in Kenya. Oh, she's so good, and she's my go-to financial advisor. So I listened to her, and she talked about something very, very stunning. This thing really like stimulated my thoughts about why I'm speaking about this video today, or why I'm speaking about this information in this video today. So Rena Hicks said she was coaching someone. This person had a very, very good job in the UN, in the United Nations. And the person was earning millions per month, millions per month. And at the end of every month, she almost didn't have money at all for her. And she thought she was crazy. And when this financial coach sat with her, she found out that she was earning 2 million per month. Her expenses were like 1.8 million. 1.8 million, because she was supporting relatives and other family members big time, educating nieces, opening businesses for the sisters, supporting her parents. And because she was earning a lot of money, she put them in a very high or they expected really very high way of living, high life based on her income. And her own lifestyle was also very expensive because, of course, she was working in a very, very prestigious place. And so she needed to have a very expensive lifestyle in her situation. And so at the end of the month, she remained with just a few hundred thousands, like 200,000, which was nothing compared to how much she was earning. And she thought she was crazy. And so the very first thing that this financial coach told her was to sell all those assets that were having, like dead assets, like sell the piece of land that she had that was that had nothing, that was just lying there. Say she sold off some of those dead assets. I'm not saying that land is a dead asset, but it wasn't generating any money for her at that moment. And then she had to regulate her tax, her black tax. She had to regulate and really determine based on need. So she had to do fresh needs assessment to know which family members she could support and in what way and to what extent. And then she ended up seeing that she was supporting some family members to have a luxury life, even a more luxurious life than her own life. And so she cut on that. She didn't stop supporting those family members, but she had to really cut down on the support and only start supporting them based on their needs, on the immediate, basic, or the most important needs. For example, paying for education, but paying for education that was absolutely necessary, and paying and not really paying putting her nieces in very expensive schools, but rather in affordable schools, and then she needed to focus on herself, invest in assets that would give her passive income. So imagine what this financial expert said. This person was earning millions of money, millions of dollars, not millions of dollars. She was earning 2 million Kenya shillings. That's about 200,000. 2 million, that's about 20,000, sorry, that's about $20,000, US dollars per month. But then she remained with just $2,000 dollars per month after paying all these things. And so she needed to invest in assets that would give her passive income every month. So even if you have a very, very big salary, if you don't have something that gives you passive income every month, forget it. You will never be rich. Forget it. Forget it. Forget it. So the bottom line here is investing. Whether you are earning $100 per month or whether you are earning $20,000 per month, investment is what will get you out of poverty. Investment is what will get you out of generational poverty. Investment is what will make this black tax situation not affect your financial wellness and your mental health. Okay, and so this financial expert ended up helping this person regulate all those things and start earning passive income, and only then she is well financially, she is well mentally. Yeah. And so my point here is that you need to invest. You need to invest. And I have listed a couple of things, a couple of assets in which you can invest. And I always say, and I will never stop saying this, if you're new to investment, please start by investing in emergency fund. Emergency fund. Have 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses ready, sitting somewhere, not in the bank, or maybe in the bank or in a financial institution like Etika Capital or CIC, or at the bank. So have your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses kept somewhere, okay, in an emergency fund. Put it in a money market fund or just somewhere. So the beauty of putting your money, your emergency fund, in a money market fund is that you remain liquid. You can get it out whenever you want, and while it's sitting there, you are generating some interest on it, okay? And that's why I am not for the idea that you keep your emergency fund in the bank. And so that is if you're new to investment. If you don't have any investment, please start accumulating your emergency fund. On my channel, I have prompted you to join me in the challenge of investing for emergency fund. I have to tell you that even for me, it's very difficult to raise 3 to 6 months of emergency fund. I have not been able to succeed. I remember we started early this year, and soon we will be in June, where we'll be reviewing how much we have invested. And so if you want to join me in this challenge to start investing somewhere for your emergency fund, please check out a video on my channel. Check out the link, check out that video. I have all the information, what you need to do. And at the end of 6 months, I want us to see how much we have raised in our individual emergency funds. And so after you have had your emergency fund set up, you need then to start investing, but start slowly as you scale up. And starting slowly can mean just starting by buying things like short-term bonds, like T-bills or treasury bills or treasury bonds. So short-term bonds will be treasury bills if you're in Kenya, and they range between 90 to 365 days. You can invest in those ones, or you can start buying a bond, a duty-free bond. They are called infrastructure bonds, and start investing there. Interest, you will get your interest, but your interest will not be taxed. So you can start slowly as you scale up. My most favored investment is investing in real estate. You can nowadays there are many opportunities to be able to invest in a small condo apartment or a bedsitter apartment, and so you can start slowly, raise money slowly and invest in such a thing, run an Airbnb with your condo, and just like that, step by step, step by step. And I would say if you're starting to invest, start with a goal in mind. Start with a goal in mind. Set a goal. For example, you can set small goals like this year, I want to be able to set up an emergency fund. And then next year, the goal would be to start buying treasury bills. And then the following year, you will have saved enough to start buying a condo apartment or a bed-sitter apartment. And buying a bed-sitter apartment, it's easy because you don't have to buy it in cash. There are many developments which are selling apartments on how is it called, on how is it called, off plan, yeah, off plan, where you start paying slowly as you as they build, and they build over 3 to 4 years period, and so it's easy for you to pay slowly over those 3 years or 4 years until completion, and you get then your apartment. So try that investment and you'll never lose. And so it's through investing that you'll be able to really manage your black tax and try to overcome this issue of generational wealth. Okay, so for me, I was not here to tell you that don't do black tax, because this will be not realistic. The realistic way in our setting, in our African setting, in our Kenyan setting, is really we can never do away with black tax unless your family is really rich. But for those families that are not rich, that are just average, you can never do without the issue of black tax. But it's very important for you to prioritize the real needs, Never forget your old parents, and never forget the children who need education that cannot have it because of poverty. And then invest in order to be able to manage the issue of black tax well, and also know the goal of your investment. Start slowly, and transition. Yeah, take small steps as you go further. So that was it. And if you are new on this channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. Here we talk so much about investing in yourself and investing in things. And I think that my next video will be about investing in yourself, because my last couple of videos have been about investing in things. And please consider checking out the description in this video, where I ask you to really take a step forward and start investing, starting with your emergency fund. I'm not asking you to like give me money to invest. No, I'm asking you to just take the responsibility to invest yourself. And as you join a group of people who are also investing, you get encouraged to invest. And then we will see at the end of June, or yeah, in the middle of this year, how far we have come, how far we have gone. And I also wanted to tell you that please check out the link in the video, in this video description, if you're interested in developing, or if you are interested in coaching, in a coaching session. Please check out the video description. Part of investment is also developing things that give us money, and so have been developing some digital products, some PDFs for sale. And please check out the links in the video description to be able to see if you can find one or two items that you can buy from my channel. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for always supporting this channel, and please like and subscribe, share this video with other people who may want to know this information. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.